To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, hello and good afternoon, and welcome to today's podcast. I want to welcome both sides, the Lockhart Perspective, as well as Headlines with a Voice today. This podcast will be specifically about what's going on in Atlanta as it relates to the whole entire kit and caboodle. I mean, we've got the Fani Willises, we've got the Wade, we've got the Trumps, but listen, as I stated on last night's podcast, this is not about Trump. This is not about sides. This is specifically about what's right and what's wrong, what's right and what is wrong with the whole entire scenario, the whole entire situation. And so we are looking today specifically at some things that went on overnight, I would say, because this morning when I got up, I'm not sure about you, but I was looking in the face of the House Republicans' subpoena that had been doled out to Fani Willis. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And again, in this podcast today, we are going to take a look at all of it. I want to glance first off at the actual subpoena itself. I really don't like to, when I have the opportunity to look at the whole thing, I really like to look at that. I don't like the option of listening to a lot of secondhand stuff if I can find it firsthand. And so what you have in front of you right here on the screen, which I'm going to be giving you the whole screen, it's right here. It's the Congress of the United States, House of Representatives. It's going to outline what we need to know about what's up, what's going on. And I'm going to let you have the full screen. It's important for us to know that what goes on in situations like this is vital because it can affect you and it can affect me. Looking at this particular situation allows us, as I said before, to peer inside of the inner workings of our judicial system on a local level. This also has some far-reaching tentacles that go into a federal level. For example, when you look at the fact that Nathan Wade was actually at the White House and had met with the White House legal team, the question becomes why? And is that ethical? Or isn't it ethical? Why would you want to have a meeting where you could subpoena documents if you needed documents? How are we as citizens expected to understand exactly how that was a necessary visit? There's several visits, but these are questions that have to be asked. And as soon as you start to take away the partisan lines, then you're able to really get a good gander of what the problem is. Yeah, you're able to see exactly what the issue is. I'm going to give you guys this part here. Here we are. Let's see if we can just take a glance at it. I hope you guys can see it because what happens is every time I click it, it takes me someplace else and I can't see it. So let's do this. Let me just read what I see in front of me and you guys look at it from your side because it doesn't look like it's going to agree, and that's all right. The Honorable Fani Willis is how it begins. To the Honorable Fani T. Willis, District Attorney, Fulton County District Attorney's Office. There's the address, 141 Pryor Street Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. Dear Ms. Willis, on August 24th, 2023, the Committee on the Judiciary wrote to you requesting documents in the custody of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office relating, in part, to its receipt and use of federal grant funds issued by the United States Department of Justice. Since that date, we have sent 2 additional letters on September 27th, 2023, and December 5th, 2023, reiterating our request. To date, you have failed to comply voluntarily with any of our requests. The letter goes on. The committee's oversight of your office's use of federal grant funds is particularly relevant in light of public whistleblower allegations that it has misused federal funding. According to a recent report, your office unlawfully, quote, planned to use part of a $488,000 federal grant earmarked for the creation of a Center of Youth Empowerment and Gang Prevention to cover up frivolous, unrelated expenses. The DOJ awarded this grant to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office for the purpose that you requested, in other words, is what he's saying. So let me break this down. If you did not see the podcast last night, then more than likely you did not see the audio of the young lady who was pleading with Fani Willis, begging her to take a look into the actions of a Mr., I believe it's Michael Cuffey. And Mr. Cuffey, in some capacity working there in Fulton County, dealt with the juvenile system. And this young lady, I believe her name is Timpin. I'll play the video if you guys did not see it. I think it's Timpson. What she did was she was one of the people that wrote the grant. As you know, there are grant writers, and she wrote the grant. And so she was telling this man, listen, we can't buy these computers, and we can't go on trips, and we can't do, quote unquote, we can't get swag. That conversation led her to speak directly to their boss, which was Fani Willis. And on the audio, you can hear Fani's response saying, well, I know you and he have had some troubles in the past, but we'll take care of it. And he's not as close to me as he thinks he is. And a lot of people say that we're close, and a lot of people say that we're friends, but he doesn't have access to me like that. Now, we're going to go into a couple of other things, but for those of you, if you did not see it, last night, just put up a 1 in the chat, and that'll let me know that I need to play it again just to get everybody caught up, unless you've already heard it. Because if you've already heard it, or you know exactly what we're talking about, then we can just keep on pushing. Okay? We can just keep it going. But here is the crux and why that is important. It is important not because of Trump, and not because of Biden, and not because of, Fani Willis's alleged lover's wife, not because of her alleged lover, but because the citizens, the people, need to understand where their money's going. From a federal standpoint, that's the taxpayers' money. Whether you put in 10 cents or 5 cents, or you got 5 on it, no matter what it is, it's your money too. Federal funds. Don't you know that? And so we need to understand and figure out exactly what's going on in that degree, in that level. When people behave as if they are above the law, everything that they do or touch becomes available for scrutiny. And that's exactly why we're looking at this, because she made herself available, and that she's a public figure. She made herself available because she did not deal with a situation that later led her county into a lawsuit, because this woman did sue. The former employee did sue. She fired her only 2 months after coming forward to tell her, listen, and her words were exactly this. Woman to woman, she says, and I'm quoting, woman to woman, she says, I'm talking to you woman to woman. This man is going to be dangerous, she says. This is the young lady, says to Fani Willis, to your administration. He is doing things, she's telling her. He's doing things that are not right, that are not legal, with the money that we got from the federal government, with the grant that I helped write, because I know what's in the grant. I wrote the grant. And what did Fani do? Fani could use this young lady's services to create the grant, to monitor the grant. Funny, she could use her for that. She was okay for that. And later she received, or the Fulton County received said grants based on the request that they had sent up to the federal government for, to help to keep the neighborhood kids out of trouble, to help make sure that they're not busting somebody upside the head. Here, let's give them something that they can do, because any child, no matter what community you come from, will have the propensity to do some great damage if you don't keep them entertained. And if you don't keep them in a position of looking past where others have been in their community. These were a group of at-risk youth. This young lady also added that there were children coming in from other districts that had nothing to do with Fulton County taking advantage of the program, which is another thing that it was not supposed to do. So this young lady states, I went to this division and I said something here when this was wrong. And then they moved me. And then I moved to the next place. And when I saw something wrong, I said something. And then they moved me from there until finally now I'm here. And this man, she says, told me that he knows that I'm going to talk to you, that every time I've spoken up in the past, she says, he said that you contact him. So where did that leave this employee? When you create a hostile environment, when you create a hostile environment and you prevent an employee from telling things that are wrong, instead you wait a couple of months and then you just fire her. You didn't have no problem with the money that she was able to get you guys for the grant, though. But what you did say was this young lady was a holdover from the previous administration. And in tandem with saying that, you also stated basically that she was not up to par with the current administration. She didn't meet the current administration's flow, as it were. She wasn't vibing with you. Okay, so now you have Jim Jordan and this letter. Now you have Jim Jordan and this letter. And what is this letter saying to me? What this letter is saying to me is, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I'm not showing up and I'm not giving you anything. This right here, when you see somebody say, we sent you a letter on September 27th, we sent you a letter August 24th, we sent you a letter on December 5th, reiterating what we needed. Now look, we're just now hearing this audio from this woman who stated that Fani Willis did not listen to her warnings and heed the call to dig into this guy's misguided use of the funds that she received or would be receiving from the federal grant. But the problem for me is the fact that this grown rump woman, Miss Willis, received 3 inquiries from the Department of Justice. Basically, the Judiciary Committee, right? To keep things going, to keep things right. She thumbed her nose at them. So this woman believes she's above the law because somebody's telling her she is. This chick believes that she's above the law because somebody is telling her, we got you. It's okay. You don't have to worry about that. I can only imagine what the conversation allegedly would have gone like on August the 24th when they sent her that first letter. We got this letter down here in Fulton, and I don't know how to handle it. Just ignore it. It ain't nothing. Just keep going. You ain't got to listen to them. And then September, about a month later, I just told y'all we got a letter last month. Don't worry nothing about that. They bluffing. They ain't gonna do nothing to you. And then December 5th. I'm telling you guys, they keep sending the letters. What are we supposed to do? Don't worry about it. I'm going to tell you what she need to do. She need to come completely clean, because now what she and her lover have done, don't forget that there was a breach. There was something about that breach down there in DeKalb County a couple of nights ago where they said that their computer systems were hacked or whatever. There was something that got snatched out of those computers is what it was. And that's me. I'm saying this is not a fact. But I'm imagining that something was taken out of the system and they said that it was a glitch or that it was a cyber attack. Because there are a lot of files that's more than likely missing, because now all of a sudden today, here comes Nathan Wade. And here comes Fani admitting that yes, they did have a relationship, but that relationship did not take place until 2022, after he was already in place as the special prosecutor over this Trump situation. Now, I want you to remember something again. If we remove Trump, it doesn't have to be Trump, it could be Bob the Builder. The issue is, did she receive kickbacks for what she had going on? She gave the guy the job. The very next day, he files for divorce. Very tight-lipped, not saying anything about any funds to give to the wife. Very tight-lipped. Nobody said anything. Everybody in the community knew that they was already rocking out, right? Everybody in the community, everybody there knew that they were already in a relationship. Now, all of a sudden, when all they had to do was say this in the very beginning, it's very convenient to note that they started dating in 2022. Are you guys tracking? So instead of her just coming out saying, yes, maybe we shouldn't have dated, but, maybe I should have let him go right after we started seeing each other. Maybe I should have, but I just thought that maybe we could stay, maybe we could do our job and not be, not be too personal. There could be a whole lot of stuff. And I'm telling you, I could get it. I could get with her if she had just come right out and admitted it then. But for you to wait all this time after all of this hubbub, after the cybersecurity attack, now all of a sudden you guys both come out and say, hey, yeah, we were seeing each other, but we didn't start seeing each other until after I started the job, which still looks bad, which really is the reason why I think it's a lie. Do you know why? Because the mere fact that you're dating somebody who gave you a job after she gave you the job is even worse than saying that you were seeing her before that. You see, he's not a good liar. She's not a good liar. These two individuals would have fared far better had they just come out with the truth, because now you want to tell me that after you got the job, you thought it was fitting to start sleeping with this woman with as much money as you stand to gain. You had to deal with the chick that gave you the money with all of the snatch in Atlanta? With all of the chicks in Atlanta, you had to date the woman who hired you? This is some bull. That's how I know they're lying. And I don't care what anybody says. I know this is not true because it doesn't make sense. It would make sense if a woman said, hey, I'm tired of you holding on to this wife. You need to give her what you need to give her so that we can go on with our relationship. Give her whatever it is. Well, I can't because I ain't got enough money to go ahead and take care of her and me and everything that we're going to need to do. And she's going to need spousal support. I don't make enough money. And then the opportunity comes for her to give him $654,000. For her to give him $250 an hour. When that opportunity came, she did it because she wanted him to leave. This is, again, my assessment. She needed him to be gone. For those of you who are just coming into the podcast, welcome. Do us a favor and hit the like button, please, or dislike. Either one. Then it gave her the opportunity to pay him and to give him the money that he needed to be able to take care of her. Because look, she's only making $100,000 and some odd $1,000 a year. And one of the problems with a lot of couples, especially Black women who get in position, is they refuse to date because they feel like if they're making too much money, more money than the dude is making, that it's not going to be a very peaceful ride because he's going to feel intimidated. So what she did is she gave him a one-up. I'm going to give you $250 an hour, even though I know that you have no RICO background. Even though I know you have never in your life tried a felony case. Even though I know that you ran for judge in Cobb County and lost. I'm going to make sure that we make your name known, and I'm going to make sure that you're making enough money to make you feel as if you can afford me. And that's exactly what I believe happened. That's exactly what I believe happened. And so now what they're trying to do is play catch up. They're trying to play catch up. This chick literally knew that after she fired that young lady, that she was going to have to respond somehow. But because she's brazen and because she's believing the lies of the handlers that have put her in position, you see, she doesn't think that she has to say anything to anybody. She feels like she is just above the law and does not have to show them proof of anything. Yeah, that part. So let's go on ahead and let's look at this story where it tells us that she's finally admitting it. Okay. She finally admits it. Fani finally admits that she's having an affair with the special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. Now, let me just say this. I hope for their case, for their sake, that people on any of the side. Here's the thing, and this is not a partisan comment. This is just a comment, period. I think that people are hoping that this goes away because of the circumstance. People are hoping that the whole Trump piece goes away because of the circumstance, when all this did was let us see their dirty laundry. I don't care whether it stays or goes, because I don't have a dog in the hunt. And I don't know what the validity of the case is for, on its face. I don't know. But I do know that this has now allowed them to go in and see all this girl's dirty undergarments, dirty laundry, dirty everything. Everything is exposed, and the same for that man. So let me go ahead and give you guys this story where she now admits it. And you guys let me know what you think about this. I know that I know that you probably already seen it because it's everywhere right now. Everywhere. All right, let's go. I don't want to give you $1. Sorry, I'm not giving it to you. I'm not paying for nothing. No, I'm not doing it. They want you to pay for paper. I'm not paying for paper. Let me give you the screen. Fani Willis admits the affair with the prosecutor. Fulton County DA Fani Willis on Friday acknowledged her romantic relationship with the special prosecutor Nathan Wade, but said that she is not stepping down from the election fraud case. Let me tell you something. That is the biggest bunch of ego that I've ever seen in my life. It's like the wounded quarterback who refuses to sit down even though he knows he's in a wheelchair. Put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready to play. Put me in, coach. Come on, put me in. I can do it. I'm not going to give up, but you are going to damage the team. You are going to harm the team. This lady cares nothing about it. This lady cares nothing about the team. Because if she did, she would have already sat down. So she says that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis on Friday acknowledged her romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, but said that she is not stepping down from the election fraud case against former President Donald Trump and 14 others because she has done nothing wrong. Quote, to be absolutely clear, the personal relationship between Special Prosecutor Wade and District Attorney Willis has never involved direct or indirect financial benefit to the District Attorney Willis said in a court filing. She asked Superior Court Scott McAfee to summarily deny a motion by former Trump campaign official Michael Roman to have her and Wade and the entire District Attorney's office removed from the case and cancel it altogether, a February 15th hearing on the controversy at which Willis and Wade may be called to testify. Wade also denied any conflict of interest. Why Nathan Wade is under fire for the alleged affair with Fani Willis is facing new scrutiny. See, in 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship in addition to our professional association and friendship, Wade said in court documents that were filed today, the 2nd of February, 2024. He says, quote, I have no financial interest in the outcome of the 2020 election interference case or in the conviction of any defendant. Both said the affair began after Willis hired him for the high-profile job of overseeing the sprawling racketeering investigation and prosecution of former president and 2024 Republican frontrunner. Willis has charged Trump with a host and a host of other attorneys, campaign officials, and election workers over their alleged efforts to overturn Joe Biden's 2020 victory in the state. On January 8th, a lawyer from the former Trump campaign, Michael Roman, asked the court to disqualify Willis and Wade and the entire district attorney's office over their alleged relationship. Roman also accused Wade of using some more of the $650,000 that he's been paid to take Willis on trips to California, Florida, and the Caribbean cruises. Trump and another co-defendant joined the motion late last month. Here's the problem. He did pay for those trips out of the funds that he received from Fulton County. That's the problem. That is the problem. Every time they tell a lie, they forget that there's already been things exposed about what exactly is happening, and that's an issue. And I want this to be a major, major lesson for Black folks. I really do. I really, really do. And here's what I want to say, and I want to say it nice and loud because, again, I'm removing Trump from the whole scenario. When you are in a position of power, when you are in a position where people have put great trust in you, it's sad that I would even have to say this. You need to make sure, like I said the other night, that you are above board and that you are walking the fine line and that you are doing everything that you are supposed to do and that you have somebody there to hold you accountable. You need to make sure that you have accountability partners that can keep you accountable and make sure that you are doing everything that you are supposed to do. Because when you're dealing with people's money and you're dealing with people's lives and you're getting yourself deep inside of things that you think you can get away with, you got a problem. Because somebody's always going to want to double check you. And when they do and your stuff ain't right, you're going to have a problem. This lady was checked by a young woman, the young lady that came to her and told her, you got problems in your camp. But you see, when people bring you a warning, when a prophetic warning comes forth, people get their noses up in the air. And they begin to believe that they are better than the person that's bringing them the information, knowing doggone good and well that the person that's talking to them at that moment is absolutely right. How dare she come in here and tell me, and I'm the district attorney, what's up? How dare she? So here you see that this is what is at stake. And let's just be honest. If there is any validity in this Trump situation, she is going to throw all of that in the garbage because she refuses to remove herself from the circumstance and allow others in charge to take over this case. Does this make sense what I'm saying? You guys hit the like button if what I'm saying makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, hit the dislike button. Hit the dislike button if what I'm saying don't make sense. And if it does, hit the like button. Because here's my thing. Why would you allow your hard work over the past year and a half, 2 years, to go down the drain if you know you've got a solid ironclad case? Now, let me tell you something. If you know you don't have a solid ironclad case and you just stitching crap together as you go, that might be a reason to stay. That might be a reason to hang out. If you know that you adding stuff as you go and you're getting your instructions from somebody else as you go, which I've been saying over and over again, that's the deal when it comes to Black folks. When it comes to these women that are getting these positions and it's causing us a major issue, these women are getting these positions and they're running amok. They ran amok in Chicago. They're running amok out there in Illinois, in Dalton, Illinois. They ran amok right there in the same county where this woman is, with one of their commissioners, sleeping with one of the men at the job. And then when the cat tried to break up the relationship, this chick goes and puts several trackers in this dude's car. Right there in the same county that Fani Willis is in. She's a commissioner. She's no longer a commissioner. And then the other woman that was out there talking about somebody spiked her drink. I think her name was Felicia Franklin. And she's in a totally different county, one county over, though. You cross the street and you're in DeKalb. So she's all laid out in the middle of the news, thighs all out, drunk as a skunk, talking about somebody drugged her. Yeah, you drugged yourself. You the pusher. Sit up there and shovel 5 drinks down your throat. And then you're going to tell somebody, oh, they drugged me. Thighs everywhere. These problems within the community need to be addressed. They need to be rooted out. And before you guys start running down there voting people in, you need to know who these people are. You need to find out who their daddy is. You need to find out who their mom and them is. You need to start looking. And that's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem. They used the same exact tactic when they got this current vice president in. They used the exact same tactic, pushing it up as it was a black woman until everybody said, yo, whoa, wait a minute. What? No, she's not. No, she's not. But that don't matter. Because if you be honest with you, I don't know what, Kamala Harris is doing in the background, but I know what she's not doing. I know what I don't see her doing, even though I'm not a Kamala Harris. Y'all already know I'll call her Kamala Toast, so baby, I'm not one of her biggest fans at all. What I'm trying to say is they're not allowing themselves to go out like the black girls, the real serious chicks are. They're not allowing them to be like you guys call, what's her name, Lori Lightfoot. They're not coming right out like Lori Lightfoot is, like this young lady is from Fulton County. I don't know where her family is. They need to be pulling her back, reining her in. But they must believe the same promises that's been given to her. This chick has been given some promises. Somebody been promising her some help, and the help that they've given her thus far isn't doing nothing but digging her deeper and deeper into the BS. Now, since the House Judiciary Committee has given her the subpoena, what is she going to do? Is she going to show up this time? Or is she just not going to do anything? That's right. Is she not going to do nothing? Stephanie, you're absolutely right. Check it all out. Okay? This is a problem. Joseph Francis Burton says, Dr. Lockhart, why do you think these positions of authority that demand the highest of our trust seem to attract the most shameless and the dishonest people, and why? Here's the thing. Personally, not anything that I can find, but personally, I believe that these people are handpicked prior to. I believe that they're handpicked prior to. I do. Because when you listen to her speak, she's not the most eloquent of speakers. The same thing with Lori Lightfoot. She wasn't the most eloquent woman. The same with the lady out there in Dalton who was arrested. Listen, I'm waiting to get a response back from Judge because I really wanted to dissect Dalton County, and we're going to get a response. There was some family problems for the person that handles his calendar. And so I'm going to be hearing back from them at the top of the week because I want to dissect Dalton County like I have never dissected anything before. Because the woman who is the mayor of Dalton County, Illinois, also was wanted for theft in 2016. And she bonded out the day after they arrested her for stealing or breaking into parked cars, is what it says. That she broke into a parked car and they arrested her. And then later she went ahead and posted bond. Well, now she is the mayor and she is running amok of Dalton County, Illinois. So yeah, to answer the question, the deal is, I believe that a lot of them are being put in place. I believe that a lot of them are just paid actors, even though they may be attorneys and they may be individuals who, I believe they're just the poster kids. That's what I think. That's what I think. That's what I think. So let's go on ahead and move on. We're going to go on to another story here. We're in the same vein. We're in the same vein because we got to be. So now that she's admitted to it, now that she says, okay, yeah, we had a relationship. Where do you guys think this is going to go? Does anybody know where this can possibly go after this? Does anybody know? So we've got two things that they've just brought up to us today. We've got the first thing, and that is that Jim Jordan and his dudes have sent her the letter demanding information and documentation. And then the second piece today, dealing with the same group of people, is that now within the last few hours, they've come forward to say, yes, we were in a relationship. But do not forget that last night on the Lockhart Perspective, we did take a quick look at the fact that they had a breach. I want to know what was in the computer. I want to know how the breach affected this case and why now all of a sudden, when they could have just come out in the first place and said that they were boinking around in the house or boinking around out there in wine country in California, or boinking around out there in the Caribbean. Why couldn't they tell us about the boinking before? If it's something that took place after, which is still unethical. And if you took her on a trip with those monies that you're getting, it's still unethical. It does look like a kickback. And again, like I said last night, kickback equals felony, and a felony equals jail time for somebody. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now, Fani Willis hit 22 articles of impeachment. 22 articles of impeachment. 22. Let's take a look at that. That's creepy. 22. Oh boy. Boy, I tell you. Let's see here. I want to get the most recent story for you. There you are. 22 counts. Wow. 22. Yikes. All right, let's see. Fani Willis has been hit with a surprise 22 counts of impeachment. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Let me give you that, because that story right there, I don't know whether to believe that or not. Can you believe that? Let's see. Yeah, it's a real story. Huh. Well, let me give it to you. Oh, but wait a minute. This cat has music and stuff in his stuff, and I hope he doesn't zap me. I hate when I get zapped. Okay, let me see what he's talking about. I hope he doesn't have any music in his background. Yeah, she's in it. She's in it deep, you guys. She's in it deep. All right, here we go. And I want to see. Here we are. There you go. You guys like this guy? I like this guy. Let me hear what he's talking about, though. Let me see. I don't want to listen to his whole thing. Oh, wait, there she goes. Okay. Go back a little more. A little more. A little more. Okay.
Here is Miss Fani Willis, the district attorney of Fulton County, and she is the woman who's actually pushing forward the case against President Trump and his other associates. And besides the massive scandal that she's already facing in relation to her hiring the man who she was allegedly having an affair with to lead the prosecution against President Trump, well, Miss Fani Willis was hit with some further bad news just 3 days ago. Specifically, articles of impeachment have been filed against her in the Georgia State Assembly. What happened was that last Friday, right before the weekend, House Resolution 872, you can see it up on your screen, it was submitted to the Georgia State Assembly by State Representative Charlize Byrd. She's a Republican. This resolution, it accuses Ms. Fani Willis of using her office not to pursue justice, but rather for political gain. Quote, the 10-page State House resolution filed on Friday by Ms. Byrd outlines the case for charging Ms. Willis with violations of oath by a public officer under Georgia Code Section 16-10-1. And just for your general reference, that particular state statute, here is what it says in relevant part. Quote, any public officer who willfully and intentionally violates the terms of his oath as prescribed by law shall, upon conviction thereof, be punished by imprisonment for not less than 1 nor more than 5 years. Now, this resolution then goes on to list 22 specific articles of impeachment, each one of them being an alleged violation of that particular law, Georgia Code 16-10-1. And out of those 22 articles of impeachment, quote, 19 of the impeachment charges are allegations that Ms. Willis's prosecution of President Trump and the 18 other co-defendants under Georgia's organized crime laws was done for the purpose of advancing her political career and so grossly violates her oath of office. Meaning that 19 of these charges, they allege that the RICO prosecution against President Trump is not being done to pursue justice, but rather it's being done for political purposes. And then the other 3 charges, well,
okay, let me break in right here because I have to. I really give a rip if it has anything to do with him. The fact is that if you remove Trump out of the scenario and out of the situation, her behavior is still unethical. I don't care that it has anything to do with Trump. I don't care. And the fact that it has something to do with Trump is what's really blocking a lot of people from having common sense and using this situation to understand that wrong is wrong and right is right. I don't care that it has anything to do with him. Just like I don't care that the other stuff has anything to do with Biden. Everything that went on with his son is illegal. If you make his father Bob the Builder, what he did was not right. So it doesn't matter about the party. And that's what I really want to scream to black folk who sitting up here still wanting to hold on to God's unchanging hand because somebody decided they wanted to go into church 2 weeks ago, Fani, and start to plead her case in front of a bunch of black folks that she wants to vote her back in. That is really what it is. It's no different than the pandering that President Biden did when he went into a black church just recently and started to lean on the people's side of their emotions dealing with the church. When he talked about he's the one who started the whole civil rights marching and he's been in that particular black church more than he has his own families. It's all lies. And it's all stuff that comes back to bite them. So what I want everybody to do, especially folks who got more melanin than most, to get themselves together and understand something. This means that if these people keep going, and the women that I mentioned before and people like her, there's not going to be any more people that your grandchildren can truly look up to in the future because people would have had enough. People would have had enough. Y'all need to vote this chick out. If she doesn't get impeached this time, don't you dare sit up here out there in Georgia and try to say, oh, she's okay with that. I don't care about what she do in her bedroom. Don't be an idiot. It has nothing to do with her bedroom antics. It has nothing. There's nothing in this that has anything to do with bedroom. No perviant issues at all. This is only dealing specifically with the fact that the law has been broken. And when the law is broken, they hold you accountable and they hold me accountable. And so should she. This one step over another step, this stepping on one lily pad to back up two more lily pads to say, well, we wasn't doing this, we've been doing that. I want you guys, I've heard enough of this. You guys already have this. Let's go on ahead and listen to this young lady in her own words. Tell Fani Willis that there is a problem here. Please, you need to look into it. Listen to this very carefully because this is where the House Republicans get their information from. The House Republican subpoena specifically to Fani Willis is a totally different situation. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That when a person is unethical and they feel they're above the law, they can continue to do more and more and more. My point to you is, when is it going to be enough? And at what point do the people out there decide to stand up and say, get her out of there? Let's take a gander exactly how she conducted herself while speaking to this employee that she later fired for telling the truth.
If you had to give me a sentence, what is the sentence theme?
Once I told him about his, respectfully and in an email, about his lack of leadership and the fact that he wanted to do things with grants that were impossible. And I kept telling him, like, we can't do that, and questioning stuff. He would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him. Because I understood, I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're going to get MacBooks, we're going to do that, we're going to get swag, we're going to use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county, all this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
Cuffey, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another, is dangerous to your administration. He tells people, when I reached out to you, he told me, oh, you think your word is safe? Exactly when you reached out to Miss Willis, she called me and told me, she tell me everything. So once you reach out to her, she's going to reach up back out to me. So I didn't even go to HR because he put Dexter's name on my PDP and I didn't even feel safe going to anybody.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 supervisors that have failed in this building. What's interesting to me, because I'm in a learning curve too, they each pretend to have a relationship with me that they do not have. Mm-hmm. I guess that's an intimidation tactic. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that you felt that way, but you, Dexter, certainly don't have no relationship with my.
Okay, did you hear her say, I'm sorry you felt that way? Fani Willis is a very calculating woman, because this is a conversation that this young lady had the presence of mind to record. She had nothing to hide. She recorded it because she already knew that it was going to end up the way that it ended up. Why? Because this man had already told her, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you talk to. If you go to her, she's only going to call me. Basically, they've known each other for a long time. And I'm telling you something, there's a whole lot about that cat too, because I looked into more of him than we did last night, you guys. I looked into a lot more about this man, Michael Cuffey, and about the allegations with one of his employees that he did not do anything about until after the news got involved. There had been many allegations about the man that Michael Cuffey was standing up for and vouching for, about him and children. There had been several people saying that they all knew that this man was doing this, and that once they said something, nobody would do anything. Nobody did anything until it was brought to the attention of the media. And then at that point, Mr. Michael Cuffey went ahead and wrote the letter, allegedly, and gave that to the media to say that this is what happened and we've called the police after the media got involved. Let's go ahead and listen to the end of this. But it was important for me to, of course, knowing that this is not my information, I had to stop in it and, let you guys hear that piece. So let's go ahead and finish up the last of this.
Michael Cuffey, you were
We go
safe to
back
go
just
those
a bit.
places. I'm sorry that you felt that way, but Dexter certainly don't have no relationship with
Right.
Michael Cuffey. You were safe to go those places.
You were safe to go those places. Apparently, like she said, she had already gone to HR once. Now she was trying to talk to the big dog, thinking, hey, when she hears this, I know that she is going to do something about it. I know when I get to Miss Willis that she's going to want to make sure that all this is taken care of, because this is all going to fall on her. Let me tell you something. I had a person, I may have told you guys this story before or not, I don't know, but I'm going to tell it again. I'm going to tell it in a different little way, though, because the person's listening, they're going to know it's them. But let me just tell you what the scenario was without giving you all the exact bullet points. There was an employee that had to get fired. She was a manager. And when I went in to release this particular manager, one of the young ladies that was working there decided that night to call me on my work cell phone and pour out everything that this woman was doing wrong prior to me releasing her. Okay. And we were watching this person as well. So the young lady tells me, oh yeah, they used to do this and they used to do that, and she would allow this and she would allow that. And I've been working with this company for so many years, the young lady says. For so many years I've been working here, and I knew those things were not right. And I used to just, I just couldn't believe that they were doing all these things. And I let her talk, I got a whole snootful. I listened to everything she had to say. And at the end of it, and I said, wow, I said, well, with our licensure, those things can really damage us because we're all licensed by the state. I said to her, so, those things are pretty dangerous, but I'm glad that you're coming forward and telling me about these things. However, I have a question for you. She said, yes, what is it? What you need to know? She had a very thick accent. What do you need to know? I said, I don't need to know anything, but I do have one question I want you to think about. If you knew that all the things that were going on in this location were illegal and were not right, what were you doing that you guys were covering up for each other, where you felt like you didn't need to come and say anything about it before? What were you benefiting from your silence? What did your silence earn you? Because whenever somebody comes up like that and they're telling me stuff that happened after I have to come down to the location and release a manager and take their keys, for me to have to come to your location and take your keys, and now your underlings are telling, what was it that you were covering for them? You covering something. And you see, this young lady was rattling this chick's apple cart because she felt like, wait a minute, I got to fire her because she's coming in here telling on him. And I know that what he had planned to do with that money that we got from the federal government could be looked at as wrong, but we ain't been caught. Ain't nobody said nothing, but this chick stands to get all of us. So that means I got to tell on her. I got to get rid of her. And then after they get rid of her, listen to what they said. This is what they said after they got rid of her. After they got rid of her, they had the audacity to say the purpose for them releasing her was the fact that she was not able to basically keep up. Look at this. I'm gonna let you guys see this article that goes beyond this Andrew Kerr article from January the 31st. Look at this right here, because this is very telling. The fact that you get rid of somebody who came to tell you something that was actively going on. This was not a previous employee. This was a current employee. Please understand the optics of this. This is a current employee coming to you, telling you that this is going on currently that can damage your name, your administration, your office, that can tarnish you from having any more grants from the federal government come into your office, and you don't do anything but fire the person who brings you the information. Tells me you up to something too. Fani Willis may have fired the employee who warned her about the mishandling of federal funds, but she didn't deny her allegations. Less than a year into her tenure as the Fulton County District Attorney in 2021, Willis met with Amanda Timpson, an employee at the District Attorney's Office, responsible for giving the non-violent juvenile offenders alternatives to the juvenile court system. Don't you want them to have something? See, and this is another thing. I'm talking to Black folks right now because I'm ticked. Here's the thing. You guys are always screaming. Black folks are always screaming that they don't give nothing to our community to help our children go out and do better. Oh, they don't do nothing for us. And here's the thing. Apparently, money is coming from the federal government to the tunes of $488,000 grants. But see, the Black folk in the community going to be looking at it like they don't do nothing for us. They don't do, no, the Negroes that you hire, the KNEEGROWS that y'all put in these positions is taking the money and doing other stuff with it. But all you guys do is go down there and vote for these same type of people every single time, and you don't dig into their background, and you don't hold them accountable, and you don't make sure that stuff that's going wrong that you get earshots of, you don't make them do what they're supposed to do. So it says that less than a year into her tenure, it goes on to say that it was for juvenile offenders, for nonviolent juvenile offenders, that they were giving the alternatives to juvenile court with the particular money that they asked for, that this young lady helped write the grant for. It says during their conversation, a recording of which was reviewed by the Washington Free Beacon, Timpson claimed to Willis that she had been demoted after attempting to stop a top Willis campaign aide from misusing federal grant money meant for a youth gang prevention initiative. According to Timpson, the aide, Michael Cuffey, planned to use a part of the $488,000 federal grant earmarked for the creation of a Center of Youth Empowerment and Gang Prevention to pay for, quote, swag, computers, and travel. Here's a quote. He wanted to do things with the grant that were impossible. And I kept telling him, like, we can't do that. Timpson told Willis in a November 19th, 2021 meeting, he told everybody that we're going to get MacBooks and we're going to get swag and we're going to use it for travel. And I said, you can't do that. It is a very, very specific grant. Here is where Willis responds. I respect your assessment. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. Okay, then what are you saying? There's a period there. See, when somebody is bringing this kind of information to you, when you're in a place of authority, you taking this information, but you also writing down everything that they're saying, because if you really about your business and you really about your game and you really about your job, then you're going to write all this down and then you're going to bring people in and you're going to start an investigation into this. Because look here, you're not going to be jacking up nothing. These kids need this money. This is the reason why we got this grant. And I don't care how long you've known me, sir, but we're not doing that. And then he needed to be the one fired after the investigation was completed. But you see, that's not how it is, because he knows something about her. Do you understand where I'm going? The reason why homegirl didn't let him go, you better hear me, is because he had something on her The same way that employee had something on the manager and the manager had something on her. And the only reason why the employee came to me after I had already released the manager was because she knew that the threat of being told on was gone. But this cat and this chick both keep each other's secrets. Y'all better hear me. That's exactly what was going on. Yeah, that's what was going on. And that's what's going to keep going on. Later in the conversation, Willis apologized to Timpson and said Cuffee had failed her administration. Less than 2 months later, Willis abruptly terminated Timpson and had her escorted out of her office by 7 armed investigators, according to Timpson. When Timpson filed a whistleblower complaint in the following year that for alleged wrongful termination, Willis's office issued this statement. Listen to this. This is what this woman the woman who was just in her office, this is what she says. Now, for those of you guys that heard this last night, I apologize. But for those of you who did not, you need to get this. Willis's office issued a statement describing Timpson as a holdover from the prior administration who was terminated because of her failure to meet the standards of the new administration. And what standards are those, one might ask, based on what we have seen thus far? What standards? What standards are those, pray tell? Timpson's experience sheds further light on how Willis's who campaigned on the promise of restoring integrity to the district attorney's office, does business. And I hate to even say the next sentence because to me, it doesn't matter whether a person's Democrat or Republican. But they answer it here. They say the Democrat has come under fire. No, Fani Willis has come under fire amid the revelations that she tapped her lover, Nathan Wade, allegedly to handle the office's racketeering case against former President Donald Trump. Again, this ain't got nothing to do with Trump, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here because we're coming up on our hour mark. The problem is that there's a whole lot of trash that's going on. And I'm sure that there were people that could have been elected to this position that could have done a much better job without any of this stuff going on. But you know what? They would not have served the purpose. When you get somebody who you know is unethical in one thing, you watch and see they didn't cross the T over here, and you watch them a little bit more, you know who's going to be the easy mark to put in position to do what you want them to do. Now, I don't know what her daddy had going on when he was a Black Panther because, Fani Willis's father was a former Black Panther. I'm not saying the man has something bad or not, but I am saying I find it quite curious that a woman who comes from a community where she has a quote unquote Black Panther for a father would actually stand up and watch people take from the community that she was sent to protect. What is up with that? There's something ethical going on in that. Yeah, we need to hold each other accountable here in our community, and it needs to start. It needs to start now. Yeah, she's making $100,000 and some odd $1,000 a year. Sorry that I didn't pay attention to the chat. I'm about to go. Let me just scroll back up. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anybody, haven't missed any super chats, or haven't missed anything like that, because I definitely want to acknowledge them if I did. Okay, we have none. That's fine. So we're going to go on ahead and close up. I just want to tell each and every one of you guys, thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. I did want to just bring that to you because I find it very troubling that the House Judiciary Committee had to send this woman a subpoena just to ask for documents that they have apparently been asking for over, for close to a year now, when you consider it started back in August, right? For this particular situation. Remember, the subpoenas have nothing to do with Trump. These subpoenas are specifically for the money that was earmarked for the Fulton County area. Those funds were set aside for them to have an environment for children to go to that were nonviolent criminals that maybe they, were stealing food, or maybe they were going into the store and shoplifting, or maybe they were doing something, maybe had a fist fight or something crazy, not violent, but you know what I'm saying? They got into some kind of scuffle. They did something like that, right? So the money that was supposed to be earmarked for those children to prevent them from going into gangs, this lady took and allowed her worker to talk about spending it for other reasons. And now the Judiciary Committee has sent the subpoena asking for the documents to show where they use the money, how they use the money. That is what the subpoenas are about. The subpoenas are not about Trump. However, I'm not going to say that that was not motivation for them to request the documents, because she had thumbed her noses at the House Judiciary Committee not so long ago when they asked her for information with regards to the circumstances regarding Trump. Okay? So I'm not going to say that, but I do want everybody to understand that it's not about the relationship she had with the man. It's not about anything going on with Trump. This was specifically about $488,000 in a grant, and the grant was being used. But according to a whistleblower, the whistleblower said, hey, fair warning, he's going to use this money for something else. That's what the subpoena is about. And that's why they want her to tell them, what's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about, Alfie? If you don't know that song, then you just don't know. All right, you guys. Love each and every one of you guys. Please remember to do one thing for me. I want you guys to make sure you are taking care of yourself. Please, 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 please. And if you have problems or things that are going on in your life, make sure that you're reaching out to somebody that you can trust. Don't just pick up somebody, any old body to talk to that's going to run and tell your business. But if you are going through something right now, and I'm speaking to all of you guys who may feel this in your heart that you, if it's not you, that it's somebody else. If you know that you know that you know that you are going through some stuff and you can't share it with anybody right close to you, find somebody that you do know and reach out and talk to them and get yourself in a place where you have someone that's helping you stay accountable to yourself and to those around you. That's an important thing that I'm telling you guys right now. And if you know somebody that you haven't checked on in a minute, do yourself and them a favor and do me a favor and please reach out to them. If they come across your mind and you think about them once and then you get a little busy and then all of a sudden they come across your mind again, please pick that phone up and check on that person. I beseech you. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for tuning in with us today. I want you to take care of yourself. And then once you've taken care of yourself, you can reach around and take care of somebody else. And what I want you to do for me, because you're my friend, is take care of my friend. Because you are my friend. Peace. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.